right, today is November the 11th, 2015, and we're watching the northeast Pacific water vapor loop, watching a storm. This is a hurricane force storm moving towards the west coast, and this is indicated on the surface pressure, or rather the surface analysis map right here. This is a 964 millibar storm with hurricane force winds. And we've got a cold front indicated here, and also a warm front right in front of this cold front. So that is very strange. We also have a very high pressure area right here, a zone of high pressure, and as well as a low indicated right next to a high. This area right here is all 1,023 millibar. In the LA and West Coast area, this is all California right down here. Currently in Los Angeles right now at 9:30 p.m. on November 11th, we have a barometric pressure of 30.09, which is slightly down from earlier today. In the morning at around 9:45, we had 30.15 inches of mercury, so the pressure has dropped slightly. We've got a temperature right now of 46.4 degrees Fahrenheit. We've got the relative humidity of 23.3%. Which is fairly low for the time of the year. And we also have a dew point of 10.5 degrees Fahrenheit. So there's very little chance that we're going to have any kind of rain in the next day, in my opinion. Let's go back to this big map again and see what's going on. We have a very large area of high pressure here indicated on the map, and also by this dry, dark area. We have a channel right here that has been pushed. It's followed this low pressure right here, and this channel has kept this moisture field separated from this field here, and as well as from feeding into that low pressure, which yesterday was way down over here on the western side of the country. So as we can see right now, it still is keeping these two systems separated. This field of moisture feeding into that is being prevented by this large dry air channel. All right. Now also we have some heat being applied right here on the core of this storm. All right, that is we were just looking at that. That is a 964 millibar hurricane force storm system. So that's a very large system. There is some chance of rain for our area in Los Angeles by Sunday, they're saying. We'll have to see that. Let's go look at the jet stream right now. We can see that the jet stream is interrupted. It moves down into Canada, and then it abruptly stops right here where all this high pressure. There's a HARP transmitter right in this area that has interrupted the flow. Let's go look at that right now. And that is this area right here is interrupting that flow. Okay. So we've got high pressure all through here, as indicated by the charts. And today, the skies in Los Angeles, we had clear skies, but we did see some jets, some very high-flying jets leaving short contrails. Now, typically what happens the very next day after we see these jets that are flying much higher than the commercial airliners is that the next day we see chemtrails. And also, what's happening here, we have a very large moisture field moving into the west coast. And that is usually the right time when we start to see these chemtrail aerosols being sprayed. So I'm going to predict right now that we will see some chemical aerosols tomorrow in the Southern California area. Because of what's happening here, we have a very large moisture flow. Even though the jet stream is interrupted, some of this moisture field is coming down into the Southern California area. And so in order to prevent an occurrence of rain, they must keep the humidity low, and they do that by spraying these chemical aerosols. Okay, so right now we've got that 23% relative humidity, which is fairly dry for what's actually happening here. But they've maintained that humidity, that low humidity, by keeping high pressure over the area without the chemtrail aerosols. So that is interesting. Let's look at this in the infrared loop, and we can see a broad area of the high pressure here has cleared a pretty good area. And we have a moisture field moving in here, and then we have the one moving in this way. But we've got high pressure in this area. Okay, and that is blocking, that is serving to block what's happening here. But that is, it does look like it's breaking down. The pressure has dropped. I mentioned that this morning. We had 30.15 inches. Right now it's down at 30.09. So some of this is moving in. The pressure is changing, and we'll keep an eye on this very closely. We should see some chemtrail activity tomorrow, and if we do, I will try to get a video of that. All right, let's look at this is the western U.S. water vapor loop, and we can see this very large field of moisture moving right into the west coast on the jet stream. And we have that dry area right in here from the high pressure. Let's look at this in the infrared loop. There's a lot of rain right here. Okay. And that is the jet stream. We saw that. Okay. Let's look at this is the sea level pressure analysis. We have high pressure indicated all through here, as well as way out here over Colorado. So this extends all over the entire west. Now here's that hurricane force storm system right up here. And we've got these ridges right here. That is going to probably move this system all the way up and over. Well, let's take a look at these other pressure maps first. We've got ridges here on the 500 millibar chart. We've got a big kind of a trough here, and a high right next to that indicated. Okay, let's look at the 300, which is fairly similar to this one. Okay, so we've got some small ridges here, which should keep this system from dropping down. It may move up and over and out over Canada in a couple of days. And by Sunday, they're predicting some rain. I'll have to see that to believe it. But that is a few days off. We're at Wednesday right now. A few things could happen. It's hard to determine that far out these days what's going to happen. But they are forecasting wind, Santa Ana winds, and that's usually what they do. They prepare by setting up a Santa Ana condition to keep a lot of this moisture out of the southern part of the state. So we'll keep an eye on all this. Nothing's set down in cement yet. Okay, let's look at the National Hurricane Center. This is former Hurricane Kate. Kate was a hurricane earlier today with 75-mile-per-hour winds, and it has been degraded to a tropical storm with 70-mile-per-hour winds. It's moving east-northeast at 41 miles per hour, so it's not going to pose a threat to the East Coast or anywhere in the U.S. at this point. All right, let's look at this is the East Coast, the Northwest Atlantic water vapor loop, and we can see that low pressure system that is moving in a northeast direction. This was over Nevada and Colorado and so forth a couple of days ago, moving along. They've got a dry air channel built in here to keep this moisture field from feeding into this system, which does have a HARP transmitter on it. We can see that right here, all through here, and also in the core. So this will bring some bad weather to the Michigan area and so forth as it moves to the northeast. All right. Okay, and here's the infrared loop showing the intensity of that low pressure system. There's a lot of rain in that. Okay, and here is the geostationary SSEC geostationary satellite. And this usually indicates chemtrail activity, but today I'm not seeing too much chemtrailing going on right now. It's hard to see if there is anything going on. If anything's happening, it's going to be right in here. And I don't really see it. I've got on the I have the settings on high, for resolution, but I don't see too much. This could be chemtrails right over here, but they're just a short. If they are, they're moving perpendicular to the general flow, which is typical, but it's not too apparent right now. There may be something happening right here. Looks like, yeah, they're laying them out right in here. Okay. All right, so tomorrow we'll have a better idea of what's really happening. If they're going to chemtrail, we'll see it tomorrow. That's my prediction, because we did see some jets out today. Looked like they were taking samples. They had a very, very short contrails that dissipated within 10, 15 seconds. So we'll go ahead and do an update on this situation tomorrow. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching.